Right, and with that, let me now introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Madhu N. Rao, who's a spokesperson for the BJP in Karnataka, Shatabish Shivanna, who's the counsel to CM Siddaramaiah and spokesperson of Karnataka Congress. Also joined in by Sumit Chandar, who's a renowned advocate at the Supreme Court, and Paramveer Singh, who's a political commentator. Shatabish, of course, the big question that everybody is asking, that when Yediyurappa was convicted and jailed, if it was not a problem back then, why is it a problem now? Because remember, it was your government which was there at the center.
See, good evening. I don't think you can compare the events and circumstances that transpired in Yediyurappa's scam along with the one in Siddaramaiah's scam, because they're two distinct things. Prosecution was granted. There was alleged denotification in Yediyurappa's case. His son received direct money into his bank account in the name of a trust. But here, in the case of Siddaramaiah, there are just conjectures, surmises, and speculations made by certain private respondents. And I feel the Honorable High Court, although I respect the judgment of the Honorable High Court, but I can point out at least a dozen of irregularities only on facts. The Honorable High Court has stored the lines of the imaginary speculations that are narrated by the private complainants. He has considered relevant
So, Shatabish, you will agree that the Lokayukta did carry its investigation. It arrived upon the right findings to have a Yediyurappa get convicted and jailed. Perhaps an investigation is what is the bone of contention over here, and that is exactly what the Karnataka High Court has come up with.
Correct. Now, let me just clarify this. CM Siddaramaiah and the governor has not accorded sanction to prosecute. In fact, in his order, his order was twofold. One, granting prior approval to investigate. Two, sanction to prosecute under Section 218 of the BNSS. And during the course of court proceedings, the learned Solicitor General comes and clarifies, I am sorry, it was erroneous for the governor to issue sanction to prosecute the Chief Minister, and this order must be only looked at as prior approval to investigate. You know, it surprises me. How can the High Court come and clarify what the order of the governor is? You just look at the widespread ramifications that this will have. Tomorrow, an administrative person passes an order, and then someone aggrieved by it challenges it in the High Court, and they come to the High Court and say, no, please look at it in this lens, don't look at it in that lens. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the High Court also, justifies this, clarifies this. Are they justified in doing
All
that?
right, Sumit Chandar, I'd like to quickly bring you in. I'm sure you will agree that the Karnataka High Court has very much upheld the decision to an investigation, of course, under Section 17A of the PC Act. And yes, I agree with Shatabish that as far as the BNS is concerned, they have struck down the Section 218, which was also applied by the governor. But having said that, the sanction to prosecute only arrives depending on what is discovered in the investigation. So what is rocket science about this?
The rules, the procedures, the guidelines, they have all been laid down very clearly in law. And you have to follow the due process defined in law. Of course, logics and things can be discussed over a cup of tea, no doubt. But the rule of law has to follow when an investigation takes place. Investigation under Section 17A is a very defined investigation as given under the Act. And the other aspects to it is that it is not only an investigation which has been sanctioned now by the High Court, has only said that this order per se with respect to Section 17A is okay to be going ahead. But that also needs to be seen in law, which I'm sure in appeal it would be taken up, whether it is right for this Section 17A, which came up somewhere much later than when the offence had been committed. So whether this will have a retrospective effect or not. Now, these are legal aspects which still needs to be seen. It has not come to a final conclusion. And the law will be laid down, if not by the High Court in single bench, but might be in division bench, but that's something we have to see with times to come.
All right, Shatabish, I have one more question for you before I bring in my other panelists. You know, interestingly, in the case of Yediyurappa in 2015, the entire matter was, in fact, the Karnataka High Court had overturned the prosecution, saying that the rightful considerations by the governor back then, Mr. Bharadwaj, had not been made. How do you respond to that? Let's talk about the rightful consideration when it comes to the governors. Over here in 2015, why did the Karnataka High Court overturn it then?
No, see, now the law is laid down. And back in the day, I think a learned legal luminary who was the governor of Karnataka, Dr. Hansraj Bharadwaj, had issued an order of sanction to prosecute Yediyurappa. And in his specific order, the court felt that there were certain, political conspiracies behind this, and they chose to quash it. But in this case, we're still at a primitive stage. Now, my only question to you is this. When the order of the governor issues a prior approval under 17A and both sanction, how can they retract from it? Does it not suffer from total non-application of mine? That is the simple question. You can't compare the two instances.
Let me bring you in. Shatabish is still adamant on calling this non-application of mind. This when the Karnataka High Court judge has already stated that there has been due diligence done and there has been application of mind, yet they continue to call this as a non-application of mind. And not to forget, they have already started crying foul, saying that there is a political vendetta. This is a conspiracy being hashed by the BJP and the JDS.
Akanksha, good evening. All that I can say is old habits die hard for the Congress. They can't accept anything which goes against them by the courts. Now, point one. Point two, after all what the court has said, let me read it. The facts narrated in the petition would undoubtedly require an investigation. This has been our stance right from the beginning. Don't we know what happened in 1998 with regard to the denotification? Are we not aware as to what happened in 2004 with regard to the land coming on to the brother-in-law? Are we not aware what happened in 2010 with regard to the gift deed having been made? Are we not aware as to what happened in 2017 when an application was being given for reconsideration of the alternative sites? All these things have happened when he was in the helm of the affairs. Therefore, the court came to a conclusion. These are all parameters which needs to be considered for investigation. After all, what the court has done today, under 17A, investigation needs to go on. What is wrong with Mr. Siddaramaiah to even face an investigation, Akanksha? I mean, this is really...
Then Madhurao, by that logic, wait for the findings of the Lokayukta to come to the forefront. Why demand the resignation just yet?
I will come to that. Please play the record of 2011 when Mr. Siddaramaiah used to tell Mr. Yediyurappa, let the investigation go on, you step down, you come clean, then you become the Chief Minister. We are only showing the mirror to Mr. Siddaramaiah. Mr. Siddaramaiah, you are the very same person who told Mr. Yediyurappa, come down, you face the investigation, come with flying colors, become the Chief Minister. Same thing we are telling Mr. Siddaramaiah. Do the same thing. You are the person who told this very thing in 2011. Follow what you said. Point one. Point two, I want to only ask the aspects what my good friend Shatabisha Shivanna told. These are all put to dustbin by this High Court. All those judges, all those arguments have been set aside. If they want, let them go on appeal. That's a different issue.
I think Shatabish wants to come in on that. Shatabish,
go on the same point. I think it is incorrect.
If it is about following the moral high ground, practice what you've preached back in the year 2030.
No, firstly, the High Court hasn't thrown our contentions in the dustbin. In fact, they have accepted our contention and they say this is not a sanction to prosecute under 218 and it is a prior approval to investigate.
At once you say it is wrong, at once say it is correct.
1 second, sir. I did not interrupt you. Please give me the time.
Shatabish, come on.
I did not interrupt you. Please give me the time. See, I don't know how justified it is for the learned single judge of the High Court to come and clarify a governor's order, though his order doesn't contain all these aspects. Now, Mr. Madhu and Rao was talking about acquisition, land denotification, or conversion, sale deed, gift deed, etc., etc. But they're not able to pinpoint a single decision taken by the Honorable Chief Minister or a recommendation made by him.
I will come on that, Akanksha.
Go ahead.
One second.
But before we do that, when you talk about let me in fact come in on that first. I'm sure, Shatabish, you will agree. Governor Gehlot himself has quoted the Madhya Pradesh state of Madhya Pradesh versus state police. That entire case has been quoted of 2004, where both two sitting ministers of the state were accused of land irregularities, and that time it was the BJP government in the state and in the center. The governor decided to go ahead with the decision to get them prosecuted. So now
let me just clarify that.
So
one second,
and that was upheld by the court.
the moral high ground that Madhu and Rao was talking about. Now, there is the Lokayukta, a special investigation team appointed by the Honorable Supreme Court, who has filed a charge sheet against Mr. H.D. Kumaraswamy, and they are seeking sanction for prosecution against him.
No,
If
no,
they
he's
are so
confused.
highly
Setback,
moral,
come on.
ask him to resign.
I will
Ask
clarify
Kumaraswamy
it.
to resign.
I will
Why have
clarify
you given
it.
him the mantle of a union
I will
ministry?
clarify, Baba.
Why don't
Right.
you
I will
apply
clarify.
Madhu
it?
Rao,
Natasha.
that's also the
No,
question
Kumaraswamy.
that's been posed by the Chief Minister himself. He's saying that when H.D. Kumaraswamy was being inquired for in the land mining case, why didn't you let him resign back then?
You
May
made
I-
him
may
a
I
union
say-
minister. There is
No,
a direct recommendation made by him.
May I say something to my Congress spokesperson? With regard to the Kumaraswamy's case, whatever was pending, the Supreme Court told, please file the report to Supreme Court. They have not done
When the
it.
charge
You
sheet has
please, one
been
minute.
filed now,
Shatabish, please.
when there is a
Shatabish, please.
sanction for
Let me answer
prosecution
this.
request pending
Don't
before
get
the governor.
nervous.
Shatabish,
Kindly-
please
have you
allow
made him-
him
Come
to
on,
speak.
this
He
is not
let
correct.
you
Please
make
ask
your
him to
point,
resign.
Shatabish. Let Madhu and
This is
Rao
not
speak.
correct. This is not correct. Now, Supreme Court told the SIT has to submit the report to the Supreme Court. Please submit the report. What were you doing? You got into government with Kumaraswamy and you kept quiet. You please ask Siddaramaiah ji, why did you do like this? Not to everyone else. Point one. Point two. On the fact of the matter that Shatabish was telling no signature was done, nothing was there. How did you know that he made? Let me also educate the Congress persons that in the Delhi High Court also in a similar case of 17A, preliminary inquiry against unknown offenders is not strictly barred. That is what this court is also done. Even if assuming that he has not done, let there be an investigation. Why are you running away like this? You are a chief minister,
No,
Baba.
nobody.
You are not some thieves to run away saying that I have not done anything. You stay there. Let me see. You please tell the whole world. Yes, I am the chief minister. I will face the tune. I will resign. You are not doing all
All right,
these things.
Shatabish,
Why
go
should we
ahead.
resign?
Go ahead,
But
Shatabish.
there-
I'm sure he
see,
wants to come up with a
if-
rebuttal. Shatabish,
No,
earlier during the day on CNN News 18, you said that there is no criminality on record to prove that he ought to be investigated. But the investigations have to happen, right, to get to the bottom of the entire matter. Not to forget the fact that there has to be preliminary investigation only so that there is a discovery if there has been any cognizable offense.
See, no one is opposing an investigation. We were only before the Honorable High Court challenging the validity of the order of the governor. Had he given only permission to investigate, then this issue wouldn't arise at all. But he, without
What
applying
is
his
sanction
mind,
to
he went
prosecute?
and-
Why are
What do you mean?
why are
What
we
do you mean
harping
is
so
this?
much on the sanction to prosecute?
mean?
I'm sure Sumit Chandra, please come in on this. The sanction to prosecute can very well follow after the findings of a preliminary investigation. Correct me if I'm
Let the
wrong.
investigation.
Sumit Chandra.
Yes. Section 17 only ensures that the governor will give an approval for a sanction, which has been done in this case. Investigation, of course, is necessary. And I'm sure the investigation has to take place in any case. So, but of course, since the investigation is about a chief minister, a sitting chief minister, of course, you need a sanction from the governor, which has been given in this case. So it's not that anything other than an investigation is going to take place. And I'm sure every citizen of this country, when an investigation takes place, it is their moral duty to participate in that investigation. Nothing wrong. The question here is whether that sanction itself was right or wrong in law, not otherwise.
Exactly.
Sanction was there, investigation will take place. What needs to be seen was whether it was followed a due process of law for that sanction to take place. Nothing
Paramveer
else.
Singh, I'd like to bring you in. If there is a change of guard in Karnataka and if there is a different chief minister to come into the picture, many are asking the question, is this going to be a betrayal to that Dalit backward voter who cast their vote for Siddaramaiah and not for the party? Because remember, it was the Dalit and the backward voter that ensured the victory of Karnataka Congress.
Ankaji, this is really a setback for the Congress government in Karnataka, Mr. Siddaramaiah in person, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi. As far as he was doing so big thing before the election, and this will be and this is what they are going to deliver it now. And above all, this judgment has opened up Pandora box of political turmoil, which is coming, which we will be seeing in the coming weeks, few weeks only. There will be a change of guard. There will be a new chief minister. Mr. Siddaramaiah will have to come down. And we have seen that there was a power struggle after the elections for the post of the CM. That will definitely ensue within the coming few days or few weeks. And that is Mr. Siddaramaiah was the face of Congress party in Karnataka. It was a mandate in his favor, as you rightly said. It was a mandate in his favor, not in the favor of the Congress party. And above all, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was going around the country with his yatra, Bharat Jodo Yatra, and he was credited for that for the victory in Karnataka. These things have been shattered. Those dreams have been shattered. And above all, this MUDA scam or any other property scams or allegations have been leveled against the Chief Minister. There were serious irregularities. I have not forgotten the time when Bangalore was swept in the rainwater. These properties which have been sold, these were the reasons. And above all, Mr. Siddaramaiah has been trying to score the brownie point. If I want to point out a point, there is a notification recently, if I remember, Mr. Siddaramaiah has issued a notification for Anganwadi workers to be fluent in Urdu language. So these are the brownie points. This is just a bit of an iceberg here.
All right.
Mr.
I
Siddaramaiah
want to
is going
quickly bring in Shatabish. Shatabish, time and again we've seen how the Congress has started attacking the judiciary. This time around, the legal advisor to Mr. Siddaramaiah, Mr. A.S. Ponnanna, has also talked about how the BJP and JDS are using the judiciary for political gains and for political conspiracy, to further political conspiracy. Isn't that shocking rather?
No, I mean, there is a trend. There is a trend, and with all due respect to the learned judges, but we see a trend wherein there is some sort of biasness or inherent bias that is creeping in. It is unfortunate. We may be wrong, we may be right, but it is very unfortunate.
All right,
This happens.
Madhu Rao, I'd like to give you time.
I think I strongly oppose such a thing, that too coming from an advocate. I think this is uncalled for. I think
No, why?
Siddaramaiah,
No,
please,
sir.
you can,
You all know.
Shatabesh, you can go on appeal. That's a different issue. I being a lawyer, you being a lawyer, you cannot talk like this. The point is simple.
No.
If you allege some sort of unfairness and all, you please go on appeal. But you cannot make accusations against the judiciary. Point one. Point two. I mean, I'm really appalled by the attitude of the Congress party, especially. Now, Siddaramaiah says, let me discuss with my counterparts, let me discuss with the Council of Ministers, and Mr. D.K. Shivkumar comes and says, oh no, he has not done anything wrong. I mean, who's High Court? High Court has told Baba, D.K. Shivkumar ji, please try to understand. Don't try to safeguard a person who is to go and undergo an investigation.
All right, I'm afraid I'll have to leave it at that, because remember, the question over here is, whose advice should one be taking? If the governor is to take the advice of the Council of Ministers, these are the Council of Ministers who work under the Chief Minister, who is the accused in this case. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in on Plain Speak. And with that, let me quickly bring in former Karnataka Chief Minister and MP Mr. Jagdish Shettar, who is also joining us live right now on Plain Speak. Mr. Shettar, thank you so much for joining in. The consideration for moral ground, the entire resignation that's being demanded right now, why are you demanding the resignation on moral grounds, this when the investigation is yet to begin?
Yet to begin means, according to governor's order, investigation will start, and they may file FIR also, and even officers who are working under the shelter of the Chief Minister, state government officers, they have to go investigation. How it is possible, if he continued as a Chief Minister, how it is possible to investigation properly and honestly? It will not be impartial. It will not be an impartial investigation. So he has to resign. Unless until investigation is completed, he has to resign from his post. If not, there will be no proper handling, proper justice will be caused to the what are the issues raised by the.
Mr. Shettar, Mr. Siddaramaiah has questioned the demand to resign, asking why wasn't H.D. Kumaraswamy asked to resign at the time of the inquiry in the land mining case? So why should he resign now?
That issue now recovered by this present government. It is a 10 years, 15 years old case. Now he recovered up because of the MUDA scam. CM himself is involved. So it will not be connected. Here, the governor has given the prosecution sanction, investigation sanction. And Kumaraswamy, whatever the action, whatever the put forth, they have to put forth. And the government is there. Government has to take action. Why he has to resign, Kumaraswamy? There is no order from any constitutional head. So here, constitutional head is governor, and he has given the permission that creates. So because of that, CM Siddaramaiah has to resign on moral ground.
Mr. Shettar, if Siddaramaiah steps down, will a change of guard for the chief ministerial position of Karnataka mean betrayal to the backward class voter, which has been Mr. Siddaramaiah's voter base?
It is not a question of caste creed, because scams on the ground of the scams. If anybody comes down and he resigns, it is not because of his mistakes, his default. Not it should not be compared with a caste because of his own fault. Siddaramaiah himself, he is a beneficiary. He and his family members are the beneficiary of this MUDA scam. So you should not compare with the caste and creed regarding all these scams.
All right, I'd like your thoughts on what the Congress has been alleging. They are calling it a political conspiracy, a political vendetta by the BJP and the JDS. In fact, the legal advisor to Siddaramaiah has said that you are using the judiciary to further political conspiracy against Siddaramaiah.
Conspiracy means they are making allegation against the judiciary also. It shows when the case is pending before the Judiciary, High Court, at that time they criticize a lot about the Honorable Governor, not about the BJP JDS. Now they started allegations against the Judiciary also. It is very dangerous. It is dangerous position they have taken. It is not a good thing for the democracy. It is not a good thing for the Constitution. So when there is a jurisdiction, when there is a justice, when Judiciary, we have to believe in the Judiciary. Judiciary verdict is a final. So unnecessarily you should not make it a party. Judiciary make it a party in this your political game. It is not a good thing for the democracy.
All right, Mr. Shettar, many thanks to you for giving us your precious time and inputs on that news story. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break here on Plain Speak. But coming up next, politics over Badlapur rape accused encounter rages on. This as the opposition has already called it murder. The state and police are calling it self-defense.